Good morning. Good, beautiful Sunday morning, everybody. We are so glad that you're here joining us at Center for Spiritual Living St. George. I want to remind you that we are an open, loving, and inclusive community that supports thinking creatively and living a deeply spiritual life. We have a beautiful service in store for you today. Our guest speaker today is Reverend Kathleen Sibley, who will come on in a little bit. Our guest musical artist today is Stanley. We haven't had the opportunity to see him sing for us recently, so I don't know about you, but I'm excited to hear what he has to offer. Sue Fulmer will be doing the Sacred Covenant, and our practitioner, Kelly Capsar, will be doing our invocation today. So I'm going to introduce Stanley, our guest artist for today, singing a couple of Michael Gott songs. Come on in, friend Alan. Enjoy, everybody.
Good morning. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when I feel I've lost my way, then I go inside and quiet my mind. I hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love.
Good morning. So we just take the breath. And I've found that as I'm breathing right now, my hands go to my heart. For there is only love. And there is only one power, one presence, one knowing. And that knowing creates and maintains and sustains worlds that we see, that we can't see. It creates all of life, creates all of love. It is all of love. And so I consciously align myself with that love, with that unchained spirituality, with the freedom to just be my highest self, knowing that my highest self is in alignment with God's highest ideas. And so we simply breathe into that love, into that freedom, into that absolute knowing that there is only one, and we are all part of it. Like cells in a body, we're all one. And so from this, I declare that this time together is the perfect expression of spirit in action, is the perfect expression of life, of love, of freedom. And that every word, every thought, every idea that flows from this time together, from this sacred yes, is truly the divine in action. And so we breathe into that, letting that become the embodiment of who and what we are as a conscious remembrance right here, right now. And we are so grateful for this time, for this sacred yes, for this perfection of divine. And we know that this moment grounds us and centers us and moves us forward, being the space and place of love, of freedom, of oneness. We call it good and very good. And together we say, and so it is.
And I know this voice of love, it is singing through my life. It is all I am, every part of me. It is all I choose to be. Here is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. Now I'd like to introduce Sue Fulmer to read our Sacred Covenant.
Good morning, everyone. I've been recovering from back surgery, and I'm so happy to be participating today and be back with you at the center. Wish we were at the physical center, but I'm so grateful for those that help us to get this recording done that we can participate together. You know, we are sending a mighty vibration to the universe to attract that one special person to be our new minister. And every time we read the Sacred Covenant, we're strengthening that intention. So do that with me today. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. In knowing that I am one with this life, I know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which include the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to express God, I therefore know that my new minister reveals wholeness. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which we believe. For it is written by Ernest Holmes, "Let us learn to draw the divine substance down into our own lives, and as freely as it has been given to us, let us give it to others. Thus alone shall we be made whole." As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister revealed before me as growing the center in joy and prosperity. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing the truth about myself, for I live the presence and law of God. I demonstrate wisdom through a mature understanding of the wholeness of life. I am accountable and willing to take full responsibility for my actions. I participate in and support the nurturance and guidance of the community. I act from wholeness and congruence in thought, word, and action. I walk the talk. Express your personal truth now with I embrace. Thank you. I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, knowing that they are revealed in a way that expresses God and serves the highest and greatest good for all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful, and so it is. Amen.
Hi, now we're going to bring Alan back, sing his second song, another Michael Gott favorite.
It's like the air around me. It's like the sunlight on my face. I hear the love of God surround me. I'm touched by amazing grace. And all I've ever wanted, and all I've ever needed is already there. Closer than the sunlight, nearer than the air. And I breathe in, and I'm one with the Spirit. It is health to my body, it is peace to my mind, it is joy. It is joy to my soul. And I breathe out a simple prayer of thank you. And my breath becomes a song that was singing all along, singing everywhere. It's nearer than the air. And I breathe in, and I'm filled with the Spirit. It is health to my body, it is peace to my mind, it is joy. It is joy to my soul. And I breathe out a simple prayer of thank you. And my breath becomes a song that was singing all along. It was singing everywhere. It's nearer than the air, closer than the sunlight, nearer than the air.
Oh, such a beautiful song. I love that. I love that, Alan. Thank you for lending your musical expertise today and your spirit and giving our beloved Cheryl a day off. She's been going strong for a dedicated long time. So to have you back, Alan. And thanks, Sue. So good to have you back amongst us and that you're and to know that you're recovering. Good to have your face on the screen and lend your voice to our service. And Kelly, thank you for doing the invocation. Always a beautiful way to start service. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, says in Science of Mind, the road to freedom lies not through mysteries or occult performances, but through the intelligent use of nature's forces and laws. Such a beautiful line to tie in our theme for the month, which is Unchained Spirituality, and our theme for today, which is the Tao of Freedom, to which our speaker, Reverend Kathleen Sibley, will speak. And we welcome you, Reverend Kathleen. Well, we are having a little technical difficulties, which Chris is in the process of correcting. There's a particular little box that you have to check when you're bringing in an audio. So he's taking that. And so I have another quote.
Good morning, or afternoon, or good day, whatever it is, wherever you are and whenever you're watching this. My name is Reverend Kathleen Sibley, and it is my joy to be with you here today. Please know that, as well as being the minister at the Center for Spiritual Living here in Prescott, Arizona, I am St. George's Regional Support Coordinator. So I know you guys are about to evolve into your next greater yet to be, and find your new minister and find your new way of being in the world. And I'm so excited for you. Please remember that I am here to be of service to you as you walk through that. So that's just my quick little reminder that we're still all one. You're still part of something much bigger than you. And there are still lots and lots of ways that Spirit wants to show up for you. So today we're talking about the Tao of Freedom, because this month we're just finishing up Unchained Spirituality. We are going to go to levels of freedom. Having done this contemplation, we're going to go to levels of freedom we've never experienced before. And so I'd suggest to you that it might have moments of being uncomfortable. It might have moments of being utterly fun. And it might have moments of, I'm not sure what I just got into. So just be ready. Having signed on for the experience of true freedom, you're going to experience it. Now, the Tao part is something, it actually creates an issue that I have every single year at the beginning of January, as I try to describe exactly what Spirit is. Here's the problem. The Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. The God that you can describe accurately is not the real extent of all that God is. And so I've started thinking of it as trying to describe the scent of the number 9. The Tao is the all in all. It is the allness. It is the infinite mind, around which we cannot necessarily wrap one of these little human brains. So just roll with me and understand that as I describe the Tao, it's going to be somewhat different than what you experience. It's far more important that you experience the divine than that I describe it accurately. Okay, so we'll just give me a little bit of leeway there. So the Tao is, there's actually a beautiful symbol for it. It is the black and white round symbol with 2 fish in it. And there's a white fish with a black eye, and there's a black fish with a white eye, and they are intertwined a bit. So they're in perfect balance with each other. That which is up has to be balanced by down. That which is outer must be balanced by inner. That which is macrocosmic, that the things that happen on an intergalactic scale, also has to be reflected in the microcosm, what happens inside of an atom. And so the Tao is all about what we would call wholeness, and finding that wholeness, finding that awareness that we are one. Now, you don't have to make it happen. You just have to awaken to it. And it's patient. It'll make as much time as we need in order to get there from here. There is nothing, and pay attention to this, there is no way out of this one. You're already a divine being. You are already part of the Christ consciousness or the one mind. Your Buddha nature is already encoded in you genetically, and even deeper than that. The only choice you have is how long you're going to ignore it. I would love to just sit here and wait a few minutes while you do that. You know, choose to stop ignoring it, but this might take a little too much time. So for today, just trust me when I say, thou art that. You are the divine being. And you are in the process, this country, this world is in the process to awakening to our spiritual magnificence. That is the mission of the Centers for Spiritual Living, awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. Now, humanity appears to be awakening not unlike me. It gets that spiritual call, the spiritual awakening happens, and we would really like to hit the snooze button. Or we're very grumbly and don't expect full sentences out of me until I get at least a couple cups of coffee. That's okay. Again, spirit will wait. Spirit is going to support its own expression in, through, and as all of us, and we are all gonna get there. So, if it's true that we're all divine beings, why is it we always get in arguments with each other? Or at least thus far have been arguing for about as long as history's been written down. We argue, I mean, today, in today's world, it's more about mask or no mask. It's about vaccine or no vaccine. It's, I mean, if you turn on the TV or the internet, you will see us disagreeing about just about everything and being absolutely sure that we are right and the other person is many words I won't say on a Sunday morning. How do you know you are waking up to your Christ consciousness? Christ starts showing up in all of the people around you. Not because you've weeded out the idiots, but because now you can see them in their magnificence. And when you look in the mirror, you also see your own magnificence. There's this work we do called shadow work. And that is going within to look at all the places that we're really hoping nobody ever finds out about. You know, all the reasons I would never run for president because I know it would end up on the front of the New York Times. That's my shadow side. And we tend to defend that. We tend to be very tender around that part of us. So, for instance, if 15 years ago you had accused me of being defensive, I would have been like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. 25 years ago, if you had said I was acting in a way that was racist or homophobic, I would have gone off on you. Having done my work, and this is the beauty of the science of mind, having done my work, I could freely admit to you today, there are places in my mind that are still holding racist thoughts. There are ways of being in the world that I have that are completely unconscious, that are probably ableist, racist, sexist, and name any ist. And I will have that in me. Why? Because it's existing in the world, and if I can find it in the world, then it exists somewhere in me, which is awesome because I can heal what's in me. We really, once we begin to let go of, to choose the freedom of being okay with all that we are, we begin to experience more and more God. And we can cease to yell at other people for not being the right vision of God that we are. Now, I don't know how many of you have heard my really bad jokes or all of my stories, so we're just going to roll with this one. There's a story about Ram Dass, or Richard Alpert, as he was known in his free Timothy Leary life. And he was visiting his brother in a psych ward. His brother had been hospitalized for delusions. And Ram Dass, as you can imagine, went in there with the beads and the long hair and the long beard and the white flowing muumuu, basically. And he walks up to his brother and is having a conversation with him. Now, his brother is in a suit and tie. So it looks a little funny. And so I think it was Ram Dass who comments on it about, it looks like I should be in here and not you. Why do you think that is? And Ram Dass's brother says, these people just don't understand that I am the Christ. And Ram Dass says, of course you are. And his brother might have been a little confused and said, no, really, I am the Christ. And Ram Dass says, of course you are, and so am I. No, Richard, I'm sorry. My brother, you are not the Christ. I am. And that, my brother, is why you are in here and I am free to leave. If we're denying anybody else their Christhood, we're keeping ourselves in the prison of false beliefs. We all do it just about every day. Many of us, can spend more time acknowledging the Christ all around us than others, but everybody has a day or two where they're just like, nope, none of y'all and not me either, and I don't even want to, so leave me alone. But if you really want to live in freedom, if you really want to live free of that kind of angst and drama, you're going to have to accept your spiritual magnificence. That is where your freedom comes from. That is how you learn to have easy choices, or at least choices. Many of us don't even realize how many choices we have. So if you can see the Christ in everyone, starting with the person in the mirror, then you will be doing well to move on to fully realized Christhood. One of the issues that can happen along that path is something that we call spiritual bypass. We're so busy trying to see the Christ in everyone, we absolutely positively cannot afford to see negativity anywhere. Christopher McCardle will tell you one of my favorite old jokes is, how can you tell the metaphysicians or new thought religious scientists in hell? We're the ones over in the corner going, I'm not here and it's not hot. I'm not here and it's not hot. I'm not here and it's not hot. Yeah, you're here and it's hot. And that's okay. Because if you know that Christ is within you and all around you, then the heat doesn't really matter and it can't burn you. Ernest Holmes wrote in Living the Science of Mind, in the science of mind, we do not say everything is all right when it is all wrong. Yes, Ernest Holmes wrote that. He continues, we do not say peace where there is no peace, but rather we try to discover what is wrong and why we do not have peace. We do not say people are not poor, sick, or unhappy. We do not say that people are poor, sick, or unhappy. We ask why these things should be if the original cause of all things is harmonious, perfect, radiant, and happy. Now, many people have issues with how it looks when we take religious science or the science of mind, which are both names for our philosophy, and go out into the world and tell someone they can't be rude to us. Or say to our boss, I'm aware that you're only paying me half of what you're paying the person sitting next to me for the same job. Many people are having issues with that. And I think the best explanation of how to be in alignment with principle without pretending that, everything's all right when it's all wrong. Imagine our teaching symbol, which is a circle. It has 3 levels to it. The top level is the level that we would call pure and perfect Tao, that we would call perfect spirit. It is where we find the ideals, like the Platonic ideals from Plato, of wholeness and freedom and love and joy and peace. And what we say is that those ideals take form through the law of cause and effect, and that's the center part, and they come into physical being along the bottom. Now, it's still all God, one great big circle. But at the bottom, we're trying on different ways to express the ideal of love, the ideal of wholeness, the ideal of pure, perfect love and perfection and peace and all the other good stuff. Sometimes our way of exploring that ideal is by experiencing its opposite down at the level of reality with a little r. So yes, if I am to choose to evolve, which is what we're doing, as a religious scientist, I need to take what I'm experiencing and trace it back to what I think the divine ideal was. And I move up in consciousness in prayer. And what I do is claim that ideal and watch things around me shift. But I have to be willing to experience what's going on at the level of effect in order to admit that perhaps it could be made better. Now, if you look at the middle of our teaching symbol, there's a V. And the edge of it has a little hook on it because we go ideal moves into form. We have an experience. We've learned something about the experience. We attain wisdom. And then we go back down and do it again with a new idea. Hence, we are a new thought philosophy. So if you remember that at the level of effect, we have dualism, that things can be good or bad, or we judge them good or bad. And at the same time that our divine selves are resting in that perfection, it becomes much easier to say, wow, I just said something that was totally unloving. I, a divine being, am going to look at my behavior and take responsibility for it. I'm going to take a look at my thinking that led to the behavior and take responsibility for it. Now, stop for a moment. We take responsibility for our world, for what we do, and what we think. We do not take blame. Blame is where we get into trouble, and it stops being safe to say, I don't like what I just did, and I choose to change. Because now we think if we're being blamed, then it becomes not so much a matter of I did something wrong, but I am something wrong. That's the difference between guilt and shame, according to Brené Brown. So please be very careful about it. If you're starting to feel like there's something intrinsically wrong with you, stop. You're acting from a false belief. Go back to the absolute truth of your perfection and then look at what you did, said, or thought that doesn't work for you as an adult child of God. This is what we do. The Tao of Freedom requires that we take responsibility. Now, we do that within ourselves. And as the Centers for Spiritual Living matures and grows up and moves out into the world, what we recognize is that our Christ consciousness, our brothers and sisters within the one, some of them are having a really rough time. Some of them are experiencing poverty. Some of them are experiencing homelessness. Some of them are experiencing racism or homophobia or violence in their home or all sorts of different experiences we can have. It is not ours to rescue them. It is ours because we have the freedom to choose to be part of a greater whole consciously. What is ours to do is walk with them on their path and see how they would like you to be of service. So it might be that what's yours to clean up in this world is the issue of homelessness. What's yours to make better in this world is the issue of loneliness. And so you go visit people as part of, I don't know exactly what you have in your town, but delivering hot meals or making sure that people have food in their house. It's the connection. There's lots of different groups in the area. I am sure there are many groups in your area already doing the work, and that's the cool part. We don't have to recreate the wheel every single time. I purposely joined a group that is working with homelessness. Why? Because I don't know how to fix it. But I can be part of a group of people who have more experience than me and be part of the solution. I can be part of bringing the religions together by becoming part of an interfaith group. I can be part of ending racism by making sure I am buying books from Black authors and people of color. I can make sure that I am going to local businesses that are owned in my town by the Hispanic community. There are lots of things I can be doing, and whatever is that little thing in the back of your mind you've been trying to ignore, but that sounds kind of a little bit scary but fun, that's what's yours to heal. You as a Christed being can go out into the world and bring your Christedness with you, and things won't be able to stop themselves from healing around you. This is how we create the world that works for everyone. This is how we begin to recognize our oneness with the all. And it's just the beginning. You will find that you have more people who love you and that you love. You will find that there is more good in the world every day when you step out into it, as you become part of creating that good. This is the true freedom, the freedom to make choices from a safe place within our own hearts, to have the freedom to begin to live in the world that works for everyone. Wouldn't it be great if that was our zip code, every single one of us? The place where things are honestly, deeply authentic and loving. Not always happy and perfect with a little p, but, you know, deeply satisfying, no matter what's going on outside. It is this life that is your birthright. It is this life, this world that you were born into such a time as this to create. This is who you are. This is why you came here in this moment, to revel in that freedom and to let the Tao, the infinite spirit, show you just how much freedom and good you can possibly fit into your experience. You have absolutely no thing to lose by choosing to love, by choosing to recognize the Christ in the mirror and then go live like that out in the world. That is what is ours to do, and that is what is promised to us. And because that is the truth, I'm going to use one of my favorite and most powerful tools, which is prayer. And I invite you to join me in that right now, however that works for you. You might want to get up and dance. I can't see you. I'm not going to comment on your moves. So join with me now in the Christ consciousness that has so many powerful moves, that has so many options within it for living a happy, joy-filled, God-centered, good-centered life. There is one power, one presence in this universe, and it is what I choose to call God. Although I also recognize it goes by many, many, many different names. And it is experienced within each and every one of us slightly differently. It experiences itself as each and every one of us slightly differently. Always with love and joy. And so we are part of that oneness. We are part of that power and that good. There is nowhere else to be and nothing else to do and nothing else to be. And so standing in the truth of the Tao, standing in the wholeness, I love and accept and call forth acceptance of every single part of all of our collective humanity. I love it up until it loves itself. I no longer reject any part of me or anyone else that is trying to pretend we're not God. I am surrounded by Buddhas and Christs everywhere I look, and I claim that now for all of us. Standing in that truth, resting joyfully and gratefully in that truth. And remember that all we have to do is name it. Stand witness to the deeper truth. Stand witness to the Tao. and it must now move into form according to the law of cause and effect. This is the truth of our being. This is the truth of who and what we are and have always been. It is the truth of spirit. And so I just released this word to let spirit do its thing. I call it good and very good. And so it is. Bless you all big, and thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you, Reverend Kathleen. I found that talk to be so poignant. I really appreciated the reminder of bringing the divine into form, and that we have the not just the option, but the movement of coming back out and redoing. And hopefully, every time we go down and come up, we're closer to the ideal. I was so moved by that. I have really appreciated all the talks this week on our theme of Unchained spirituality, and this week's the Tao of Freedom. It reminds me of a quote by William Shakespeare in Hamlet. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day, thou canst not then be false to any man. I love that, because if we are true to ourselves, then we are more true to our fellow human beings, our sister human beings. So again, thank you, Reverend Kathleen. It was amazing. So I would like to, Chris, if you'll back up to the conscious giving slide for everybody to have the information. I want to encourage you to either continue or start your regular contributions to Center for Spiritual Living St. George. While we aren't meeting in person, we are continuing to serve our community as best as we can, and we try to do better every week. And this service for you, and keep things going while we're manifesting a new minister. And if you can contribute and help us keep things going, then that new minister can kind of hit the ground running when they walk through ours. On the screen, you'll see all the information on how to make those contributions, and you can always go to our Facebook page or our web page to also get that information. So as we've been doing all along, we have our virtual fellowship at noon. I encourage you not to log in until noon, because we only have 45 or 40 minutes for that. So, and that starts with whoever the first person is to log in. So please log in at noon and not before. And I think Reverend Kathleen gave a lot of stuff we could hash over and discuss, even if we only just discuss her talk. Oh my gosh, so much to come together about. So noon, and the link is in your newsletter, and it's also on the Facebook page. Just a reminder that the Community Care Circle is still functioning. We would love to support you during any kind of challenges or transitions that you are going through with phone calls or cards or prayers. So call and leave a message, and we will get back to you. And our practitioners are, as always, available to support you with prayer or in times of need, and also times of glorious happenings in your life. So let us know, and a practitioner will definitely pray for you. So I would love for you to join me in the closing affirmation. Before we do that, I just want to remind you that this month we have been talking about freedom and what the truth of freedom and inclusion looks like. And next month our theme will be actually inclusion in action. So hopefully that will help us figure out how to take our what is ours to do, as Reverend Kathleen and many others have been saying for the last couple months, figuring out what is ours to do. And then next month, maybe we'll get some ideas of how to actually put that into steps and how to really take it in the world. So right now, let's do the closing affirmation together. Wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all that I do. I am it. I embrace it, and I share it just the way that it is and just the way that it is becoming. Thank you, life. I appreciate you being here with us today, and I thank everybody who had something to do with bringing you this service this Sunday of July 26th. Hope you have a blessed week. Back next week, and we'll start the inclusion and action theme. All right. Many blessings. Namaste.